Hey guys, it's the Lazystone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about another cartoon series that is on Netflix, and I think it would be great to actually bring this up to light because the show actually came from 2020, and unfortunately after 1 year the show is still dormant, and I believe that it only will have one season, and that is Hoops. So Hoops is basically a animated show that was on Netflix. It still is, but unfortunately not a lot of people want to pay attention to the show anymore. In fact, the show even stopped at one season, and I'll tell you the reason why. Why did the show did so bad is the question, and why Hoops basically slammed dunk on the ratings. Well, basically bricked because they barely even touched the damn backboard. This show is just, I don't know what happened. It's just I don't know where to start from here, but let's start with the story. Hoops follows a high school basketball coach named Ben Hopkins who recently divorced his wife named Shannon, who is currently dating an assistant coach who, well, his name is Ron, and Ben, a foul-mouthed asshole who basically ruined his own life. He really did this to himself. If anything, he really doesn't want to put the blame on himself. He just can't help himself, if anything, and it's just bad. This guy is loud. He's rude. He goes around making people angry at him at some points, and they just like look at him at like such shock value. Like that's what his character does. It increases shock value. And it makes other people just think of how much of an asshole or how much of a dumbass he is. And I could think of rather just both. Like, he shocks me in a way that makes me think that, one, I can't believe he did this, and two, he's just a big fucking asshole. So Ben Hopkins, he used to play with his high school, but he ended up not going pro because of some injury. And now, you know, he grew up to be a high school basketball coach, but he ended up being an asshole to almost everybody he talks to, especially his wife, and in a way where he just, you know, takes his own advice, not taking any other people's advice. So besides Ben, Ron, and Shannon that I already introduced you to the show, let's talk about Maddie Atkins, who is basically the star player of the team that Ben Hopkins is coaching for. I forgot the name of the high school that these guys go to, so I mean, I don't think anybody cares, but because the show has been dead for like almost a year. But anyways, there's Maddie, there's Scott, who is gay. I thought he was, you know, bi-curious, but I don't know, maybe bisexual. He's really good at getting girls, and he's good at and he dates guys too, so you know, there's no problems with that. It's just, you know, whatever. But he's pretty cool. He's pretty much the guy who just gets along with all the chicks. You got the Marcus, the only black player on the team, Time Bomb, and Gil Ozeri. I don't know which one is the fat guy, but I'll just edit it on this video. I'm missing a few more characters, but they're not as important, such as the team, the assistant coach, the wife, and Ben Hopkins. If anything, all these other characters that you'll see in the series, they're just there for the plot and the build-up. So yeah, all these characters, they all live in one small town in Kentucky. They made that clear, but I don't think they did. But if you haven't noticed, yeah, it is a small town in Kentucky. Now, just like most animated shows on Fox that started on their prime, and if they started in the beginning, this show didn't get to continue on. It got canceled after the first season. The show has been completely dormant in production, but I just don't see it happening, and I'll tell you why. At the end of this video, I'll be going over a few things, such as the characters of who I like and who I don't like, and then to the best and worst moments of this entire series. Probably not, but I'll probably do it based on my opinion. And then in the end, we'll talk about the aesthetics and the message behind the show. And hopefully everybody will just probably turn their opinions about the show to a whole 180 and say, hey, maybe this show isn't that bad as everybody claimed it to be, as critics are supposed to rule it out as to be one of the worst animated shows on Netflix. Okay, so where do I begin? All right, so the characters that I don't like. Okay, who do I begin with? Who is the most such a big deplorable asshole of this whole entire season that has been the face of this whole entire fucking series from the beginning to its end? Oh yeah, it's Ben Hopkins. So Ben Hopkins is this huge stupid asshole who thinks that almost everything he does is a good thing, but it really isn't. I remember this one time where he accepted a promotion given by his father, but however, he didn't want to accept it, even though it was like the right thing to do in order to help funding for his basketball team. Unfortunately, because it's his father's company, or probably any other company, he would probably turn it down, and he would probably try to make the decision himself. And even though the principal, whose name is Cleo, by the way, not the black girl, not her, but Cleo, the principal, the animated character, she agreed on it, and she thought it was a good idea, and I guess she got free food off of it too. This was a good idea. Unfortunately, Ben Hopkins stepped onto his dumbass whole pride ability to just build up that fucking statue of I don't give a fuck, get this shit out of my court. Like his whole entire father's restaurant, in order for him to get his customers in more often and to make more money for his company, he basically didn't want to support that. It's just that fucking dumb. Ben Hopkins just doesn't like his dad at all, and I just don't remember why he would blame him for all that mess up. I just don't understand. So yeah, Ben Hopkins, again, he just turns down every advice he's given. He likes to live life like he's 20 years old all over again, even probably 15 years old, and just irresponsibly don't do shit with the team. All he thinks about is Maddie. Maddie is literally his star player, who I've already talked about. He's 7 foot tall. He's like a good player, and he keeps using him over and over and over again because he thinks he's like the ultimate golden key to the team's success in a championship, which is kind of the opposite of what a good coach is. So if Ben Hopkins is anything, he's just not a good coach. And I hope he just, tries to figure it out that he needs to put more trust into his players rather than putting it all on Maddie. Because Jesus Christ, I wonder what he would do if he had to switch out Maddie for LeBron James. Would he just win the fucking championship just like that? I just don't. I don't know. Does he really depend on one person every fucking time they get to play a goddamn game? I don't know. And there's a really small amount of characters that I don't like in this show because they seem to put all the fucking selfishness and the asshole attitude all into Coach Hopkins. And that surprises me a lot because everybody else seems to have common sense. But with fucking Ben here, he's just so fucking oblivious to every advice he's given to anybody in the show. It just makes it tiresome, but at the same time entertaining for people to watch. So I gotta give them applauses for that. They actually condensed all the asshole energy into one character. And if you think this is even worse, this guy is just above and beyond. There's this one time where there's supposed to be this party that Shannon was supposed to go to with her boyfriend or whatever, but it turns out to be just somebody discussing about business because she's I guess a horse doctor or some shit like that. So we got pretty much a Beth from Rick and Morty. Shannon is a Beth from Rick and Morty. She is always being antagonized by Ben. Ben always wants to make Shannon know that he's the only guy for her and he's only to him. That's it. She's only to him. Wow. I call it Shannon a he. So Ben brought in this elderly man who is supposedly to be Shannon's father, to this dance or date or whatever. He brings this guy with him, and that guy ended up dying when he brought him to the dance, or the fucking party or whatever. I'm just gonna call it a party. When Ben brought this old man to the party, who was supposed to be Shannon's father, who turns out to be not his father at all. This guy, it's just... Okay, so another character that I don't like is Ben's father. Even though Ben doesn't like his father, and his father probably doesn't like him back, or his father just wants to see the best in him and see him actually succeed in life. I mean, I just seem to blame it all on Ben. Ben seems to give out the negative energy, and that could be explained by the episode where he had to take anger management, and when he was able to calm the fuck down from his short ass temper, he actually got everybody to somewhat like him. But unfortunately, some asshole that's a character that's not important became the asshole of the episode that talks about Ben's anger management. They just boosted him back up to his alter ego of being angry again. So unfortunately, you could just tell that all this stupidity and obnoxiousness is just from Ben. So unfortunately, his dad is somewhat of an asshole. I guess he got that, anger from his father, because, it's a nature versus nurture type thing. So I blame it mostly on his dad. I guess those are the two characters that I don't like. I could put Ron there too, the assistant coach, because he basically makes his life look like a living hell, because he's literally simping for Shannon. And I understand if the guy likes Shannon a lot, he loves Shannon dear to heart. I mean, the thing is, this guy needs to, have some self-respect for himself. It's just like, you can't just apply everything to this one woman who likes you, but I don't think he returns the same feelings as well. Like, Ron is an oblivious character, and he seems to have that same dumbass mentality, just like Ben. So I guess that's how they get along. And if you guys haven't noticed yet, Ben lets Ron bang his wife. So Hopkins is he is. So now down to the characters that I do like. Now let's talk about the team, because the team is basically the regular show gang. You've got Pops, Skips, you got Muscle Man, you got Mordecai, you got Rigby, you got Benson, you got the whole High Five Ghost, Thomas. I'm also bringing them in there. The whole gang in this series in Hoops is just like the gang in regular show. I kind of compared them to that because they kind of like go all out. They have fun. They eat wings. They drink a lot of beverages, such as like soda, for instance, for the case for a regular show, because it's on Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network's for kids. But for a Netflix series, I mean, the team in Hoops, they're kind of cool. They're kind of, I wish that the show was following the 5 characters that was in Hoops more than they were following the fucking coach. The coach seems to be just in a borderline boring, dumb asshole that nobody likes. But the team is more like that one team that you just like would watch like the entire show. Like you would just like to watch it because they're growing and they're developing and they're like, just trying to show off their feelings, trying to see what they have relatable to each other. And that's what make them friends. So if we were talking about Maddie, right? Maddie, the 7-foot tall guy who is good at basketball, who's the star player of the team, who doesn't get along with the team at first, of course. That's what you're going to see in the series. But after a while, he just says, hey, I'm a normal guy. Like, after a while with hanging around with the team, trying to get along, he shows that he's pretty much normal. And his mom, Maddie's mom, is like a really good, like the whole team in general, they're just really good people. And Maddie's mom is like, she's so supportive of what he does, and she's trying to make sure that he has the best experience in high school, apart from his ability to dunk without even raising his goddamn ankles. Like, goddamn, he's just so good at basketball. So yeah, let's begin with Maddie. Maddie, he's just soul-hearted kid. He doesn't know where to follow his path. He doesn't have a father to look up to because his father walked out in his life. But however, he tries to, open himself up to the team, and the team accepts him for that. And they're not total assholes, so thank God. So yeah, Maddie really was my second favorite character because I kind of like Scott. Scott, he just shows off how it isn't a big deal trying to talk to a girl or trying to get with a girl. Scott is more of a guy who just likes to be himself, and I appreciate him for that. And I just, he's so acceptable no matter where he goes. And it could be with him talking to a hot girl or a hot guy that he finds attractive. He just makes himself look like a normal ass dude. That's just fucking funny. I mean, and the guys over the whole entire team, they're just like, whimpering, scampering, all that. They're just being complete pussies about it. But Scott here, he's just the fucking, I don't know, he's just the alpha male. That's just really fucking hilarious to me. A fucking bisexual guy is a goddamn alpha male of his whole entire team. And I don't know if he is bisexual or gay, but either or, this guy is just fucking cool. I have nothing but respect. I have to put him on the pedestal. This guy's more of a grown-up than fucking Ben Hopkins. That is fucking sad. And he's a high schooler. Really fucking sad. So yeah, and then I could also talk about Maddie's mom, who is very supportive, very kind-hearted, she just has this angelic type attitude when she approaches to anybody. But the only thing I hate about her is the fact that when she talks to Ben Hopkins, it's as if Ben Hopkins needs to manipulate her. But that you'll see that in a later episode, probably close to the end of the season. And it just made me hate Ben Hopkins even more. So yeah, these are the characters I did like and I didn't like. So yeah, that's about it. Now finally, let's talk about the best and worst moments of the show. So the best moments of the show, I'm just gonna talk about two of them. Is when the whole team had to go on a trip to basically have this award ceremony, I believe, but it could also be about something else I don't really care about. But it's when all these different teams come in from Kentucky, I guess. I don't know what it was. I guess it was a conference or some bullshit like that. It was supposed to be a speech that Ben was supposed to give, and unfortunately Ben was unable to go because he's an irresponsible dumbass who doesn't know how to set up an alarm clock right. And the fact that he ended up going with Shannon, who was going to show up a little bit later to the conference. Ron, however, was there with his team. The team was already there. I mean, they were just already prepped up. Ron ended up giving up the speech, and it showed that he was meant to lead the team better than Ben, unfortunately. Ron was just given all these opportunities that he was almost going to let go of because he thinks that Ben is better than him. And that really just sucks because he obviously knows that Ben is an asshole. So Ron should just go what his gut says and try to see where his inner ability and his intentions would take him to. Ron is a good guy. It's just that he's just completely oblivious and a complete wimp when it comes to, falling in love and letting love take the best of him. So that was one of the best moments in Hoops. Another best moments in Hoops is when Maddie invited his whole entire team to come to his house and hang out. And Maddie also explained about having a man cave at his basement where he has this bar, he has billiards where they could play. These guys just ultimately respected him because he had alcohol, he had a supportive mom who gives him like all this food and snacks and all that out of kindness, and that what made Maddie, such a good friend. And he ended up being friends with these guys. So I liked that episode. It kind of reminded me of Regular Show, and they kind of went off to becoming really good friends. And it really, it kind of, sorry if you heard that knuckle cracking, but it kind of really made me like happy for some reason. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, these guys were getting along. They were really young, just like Regular Show. Well, I don't want to say the same Regular Show, but yeah, I already made the comparison here with Regular Show and that gang with the Hoops team. Yeah, they really have the same, guys' night like attitude, and that was pretty much one of my favorite episodes. And it would be low-key one of the best moments because Maddie was always down. He was always bullied. He was for his like height. But now they're like, hey, you're now our friend because, you're just like us. We're sorry for mistreating you all these years or, all this time. And yeah, and that's what happened. And I really liked that. I really did. It was really mostly like a Disney moment, but it just, showed some, heart. But unfortunately, Ben Hopkins is like, mostly just doing like he basically gave Matt the idea of hanging out with the team. But the reason why he even agreed to do that was because he needed the team to get along, and it was kind of selfish because he was a star player. But however, at least Ben was a little bit, I guess, kindful for Matt and his feelings, I guess. And now for the two worst moments in the show. So one of the worst moments would be when Ben Hopkins basically took an old man from his house who thought it was Shannon's father, but he never met her father ever in his life. In fact, he just picked up some random dude who probably had the same last name or some shit. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Brought him to the same place where Shannon was supposed to be discussing business with the business guy, right? It wasn't a date or anything. She was basically trying to talk about profits or whatever. I don't know what it was, but Shannon was basically discussing business with a guy. Unfortunately, Ben ruined that, and that's by bringing an old dude from his house and trying to dance with him or whatever, and then he ended up dead. And it was just really messed up, really fucked up episode. And then we have the second worst episode, which would be, well, not the worst episode. I would be saying this would be the worst moment in the whole entire series. And that's when Ben Hopkins basically tried to leave his small town, his hometown, because he was being accepted into a different school that Matt was being scouted for by some scouter guy. A guy was looking for talent. He saw Maddie. He was going to pick him up, but Ben wasn't having it. So Ben tried to fight off the scouter guy, or the scouter. I guess I'm going to just call him a scouter. And he gave him the privilege of becoming an assistant coach for the team. And so Ben saw this opportunity to basically leave his hometown because he was going to leave with Maddie. And so, just like a selfish asshole that he is, leaving his whole entire team behind, and just when that moment where he was talking to his team for the one last time, because he was planning on moving to the next town over with Maddie. It was just really bad. It was like a BoJack Horseman moment. It's just the way he delivers this final goodbye. It was just awful. And he just gave his last minute gifts out of his trunk when he was trying to drive out of, the hometown that he came from. It was just really bad. Okay, so let's just talk about why this show bombed, and it's pretty brief and short. It's because it's crude, rude, aimless, and the first season was just not a good first impression. And unfortunately, just like many shows on Fox, it got canceled. So unfortunately, that was the result of this whole entire season and the show in general. So unfortunately, this show given 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, Jesus Christ, and 3.7 out of 10 with the average rating. It's just really bad. I mean, I don't know why people were so like again, critics do ruin series and movies together because they just put a lot of opinion-based things that they put out of the film, like things that they don't like about the series. They just want to point it out, and that's bad. It really doesn't do the series justice. I feel like there's other things that are good about the show rather than all the bad points about it, such as the sexual jokes, the toxic retrograde, or whatever the fuck they're trying to talk about. It doesn't matter. Almost every cartoon show brings up about it. Even adult cartoon shows brings up about it, and it really shouldn't be a big deal. But unfortunately, to critics, it is. Okay, now let's talk about the message behind the show in general. The show in general shows that life is a really fucked up mess, okay? Everybody comes from a terrible, terrible background, and that's how they ended up being a person that is probably good in the inside, but has a terrible, terrible alter ego that gets the best out of them and shows who they are in general, like who they really are in general. And it's pretty fucking sad. And for Ben Hopkins' situation, he basically made his life a living hell because all he does is do things that he thinks is right. And he takes meds for it, and he tries to be better, but I don't think that's the case here. He keeps having this ego that takes over him, and he keeps having this attitude that makes everybody doesn't want to be around him. And he doesn't like to move on from things, like such as the Shannon and Ron dating each other, and he approves of it. But at the same time, if Shannon goes off with another guy, he's just gonna start breaking loose. Like, he's just gonna let hell loose for some reason. That's what I think Ben does, like, all the time, and he just exaggerates a lot. And whenever there's a good idea or something to support the team, he just goes like, yeah, I already mentioned it time and time again. It's just that Ben, unfortunately, becomes an asshole because, you know, people in his life were assholes, and it really sucks. Yeah, so this show is, you know, Ben is kind of like the BoJack Horseman of the show. He's an asshole to everybody he talks to, and, you know, he doesn't really get along with everybody, but at the same time, he understands what he does is wrong, and at least we can give him some credit for that. The show in general has this family message, like this family get along thing, like friends getting along, people getting along, like people are just, you know, trying to be there for each other, try to see the best in each other. Ben Hopkins is a good coach, but he needs to, you know, lower his, you know, negative tensions, like his negative tensions from coaching. Like, he needs to lower it down a little bit. His ego that he lets himself take the best out of, like, it's just, he needs to lower it down a little bit in order to become a better person. And unfortunately, that's not the case here. I mean, it's for entertainment purposes only. I mean, I get it. I mean, of course, he's going to be the most obnoxious character in the show, but at least he'll be able to, you know, grow out of it if they allow the show to continue for another season. This show deserves a season at least. I mean, the message behind this entire series is like getting to know how to be better, like understanding how to become a better person out of experience. And I feel like that would be a continued story because the story is pretty good. Even though there was some episodes here and there that were random and that didn't really stick to the plot of, you know, character development, but there is character development overall. How? Well, because the team, the basketball team, they grew together. They learned to like each other and learn from each other and support each other no matter what. And that's what being a team is all about. Ben Hopkins doesn't do that a lot, and unfortunately, that's what makes him a bad coach. So there was so much development to see from this series alone, instead of just saying, "Oh, this show is bad." It's just as bad as Brickleberry or LA Paradise, LAPD Paradise, whatever the fuck it's called. Um, Paradise PD is bad. It's just like Brickleberry. Brickleberry is just this nonsensical show that goes off and off and off. And Tosh.0 is behind it all. And he knows that, and he enjoys the show for what it is. I mean, it's pretty funny because it's just crazy. All right, it's a crazy ass cartoon show that goes balls off the wall. And even and what's also funny about this show is that fucking Family Guy tries to copy off of fucking Brickleberry. So that's fucking hilarious, isn't it? Yeah. So I see a lot of fucking Brickleberry's fucking nature and attitude, or whatever the fuck it is, bro. They just keep copying that bullshit, bro. It's just really dumb. It really is. So yeah, but the story itself, the character development is really good, and the story I really am interested in, and I really wanted to continue watching the show, but unfortunately they ended up ending the show in one season, and that's unfortunate. So another show that kind of has a good intent, that has a good impression to me, would be Bless the Hearts. It's a Fox original show that's on Hulu. I want to see it and check it out. I'm gonna do a review on that too. But Hoops, you know, that Netflix series, it's good. But the problem is they have this one main character that steals the spotlight almost all the fucking time, and everybody just fucking hates him. And that makes sense. I mean, he is an asshole. He's degenerate as fuck. He's just that type of guy. And unfortunately, that's the result of the show. And at the end, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the story though, dude. Like, Ron became, like, he got promoted into becoming the head coach, and he was going to teach the team, the remainder of the team, not with Matt and without Maddie and Ben. They were going to learn from each other and hopefully become better. I hope Ron, you know, basically helps out the team become a good and like all around working together as team. Like, they should work together and become better than Ben, and how he, you know, teaches the team, because obviously Ben sucks and he's just, you know, he's just such an asshole. But yeah, that would be it from there. And that's what concluded off this series. There's a lot of feel-good moments in this series. There's so much to watch out of this. I really hope to God, you know, the show doesn't like conclude from there. Like, let's hope there's a continuation from this. Like, I feel like there is an ending to this. If not, let it be season 2, the ending of the show. And yeah, let's just end it here. Hoops, a Netflix series that obviously came to its end because of critics being harsh about it. And I guess the fucking head coach was the reason why this show didn't really do so good. The character. But I feel like Ben would be able to change. We just needed to give the show more seasons. But that didn't came to fruition, unfortunately. So yeah, that is Hoops, the Netflix series. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pretty fucking long, but yeah, this was basically the whole review about the show and what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. And I hope I made it obvious. Thank you for watching.